Hey you guys, Jason here. Hey, since my beehives are growing so strong, so well right now, I mean, they're sucking down a quart of simple syrup a day each. I've gone to some larger some old jars. I don't know where they come from. Well, I know where they come from. They were in my grandma's house. Some sort of pickle jar or mayonnaise jar or something that she had that she had canned up some figs in. So they were canned in 1990. She passed away in 2001. Anyway, these jars are at least 23 years old, probably closer to 25 years old, but they're quart and a halves. Or right at it. They don't say exactly what they are on them, but anyway, like I said, there's something that she bought at the store and she just repurposed. But I went to those, and that lasts me a little over a day for each hive. It's crazy, the sugar water that they're sucking down. But I'm going to have to put another brood box on them, and the reason, a lot of people don't do this. A lot of people will just put an extra honey super in there. But we have such weird winters here in Alabama. I mean, sometimes the winter is a really cold winter. Sometimes it's a really warm winter. Last winter, the local beekeepers were having to open the hives up in December because it was just getting too warm. Anyway, I'm going with the double stacked brood box setup instead of a extra honey super on top. It just makes more sense. Seems like it'll grow a stronger hive, more brood, more bees, more better. So anyway, 2 more brood boxes. Gonna need, for each brood box, gonna need 2 boards, 2 1x12s, cut at 19 1/8, and 2 cut at 16 1/4. Now these plans differ a little bit from the most plans that you see on the internet. Most plans that you see on the internet call for a box joint. I'm going to use a dado to inset and put just one uncut piece in on the long side. And it's very important that you get those measurements right, because if you don't, your frames won't fit. And if store-bought frames won't fit, then you have to build your own frames. Now that's not really a problem either, except when you get in with other people and you start trading. Like me, this past week I got a real good deal on a couple of actually on a whole new hive, and that that could have never really went down had the guy that I got the bees from frames not fit in my box. So, and a lot of times you'll run across freebie deals, and it just sort of stinks to not be standard with the rest of the industry. So, anyway, that 19 1/8 on the long side and 16 1/4 on the short ends, very important when you do the dado like I'm fixing to do. If you're following the box joint plans and you go that way, you're not going to have any trouble out of the plans that you get off the internet. But like I say, I'm modifying it to make it easier for the equipment that I've got. I don't have a box joint or a dovetail jig, so this is the way I'm going with it. So first off, got to square off the ends of my board, get them cut roughly, and then I'm going to take them over to the table saw and make them perfect. So give me just a minute. Well, it's a lovely day to be doing some carpentry work. Finally getting some rain on the garden, so this is a good thing. what I've done here is I've set up a little jig just to make sure I got good straight cut edges on this thing. And I'll run through all these boards, flicking them up real good. Alright, now that we've got them all squared up and looking nice and neat, we will rip them down to the proper height. So I'll have to reset my little rip fence and come back to you in just a second. Okay, if you've never seen a dado blade, it's pretty cool the way it works. You got two main blades here, and all kinds of little spacers of different variety sizes, and you can make grooves in wood just basically any size depth groove that you want. You just you get this little chart here, and like right now I'm going to want to make a 3/8 groove, and what it says to make a 3/8 groove is the 2 blades and 1 chipper blade, so I won't need any spacers. This thing will make a groove as wide as 7/8 inch, so it's a pretty handy little thing to have to go with your table saw. Really helps a lot with projects. I love this thing. Haven't used it hardly any except for the beehive projects, but it's you can do nearly anything with it. So let me put this thing together, and we'll make some grooves on this beehives. Man, is the rain coming down. Alright, I didn't even fire up the camera for this part, but what I've got here is this nice little rail. This is going to be the front of the beehive. This is going to be the inside front, and that's where the honeycomb frames are going to sit, or the brood frames. Since this is a brood box, this is where the queen's going to live. She's going to lay her eggs in here. They're going to store honey, royal jelly, nectar, and like I say, she's going to lay eggs, and this is where all the this is where they're going to live. They're going to have a nice 2-story brood box, and then honey supers on top of that with a queen excluder to keep her from laying eggs up there in the honey. But that's where those are going to lay. Now I've got to set up to run a dado up through here, and then we'll be about ready to cut the handholds. I'll have to run a dado up both sides of this. Then the piece that don't get dado goes right in there, screwed through the front. We'll have our box. Put our handholds out here, and we'll be set. So let me set this dado up again, cut these last 8 cuts, and then we'll measure out and get ready to do our handholds. Alright, we're to the point of making our handholds now, and I built a little jig for doing that. The way my ramps are set up, it works best if my blade's at a 20-degree angle. If my deck is set at 1 3/4 inch depth, this will be the top of your box. Is where the handle's the deepest. Down here, as the ramps take the blade up, this will be where it's the shallowest. This will be towards the bottom of your box or drawer, or whatever you're making. You know, like I said, it's just a little spot for your hands to get into, like so, and give you a little grip. So let me set up another one. I'll cut one for you. That didn't sound good, did it? I'll make one for you. Set my saw in there and voila, a handhold. So I've got 6 more of those to do, and then we'll be gluing and drilling and putting these things together. So, see you in a bit. Alright, the next little jig is a jig for the screw holes. I just took this, split this up. It's set up actually to make the screw holes for a medium super, or if you use the entire thing, the red holes are for hive bodies. And all you do basically, set it right down here on your frame, take a pencil in the red holes, make a dot, flip it over for this side, take the red holes, make a dot. Put your screw where the dot is. I always use a drill bit, make a pilot hole, and then send in my my screws. I use these little 1 5/8" Torx head decking screws. They work pretty doggone good. The last jig is the jig for assembly. And if you notice here, I've got one of them half assembled. Oh, Titebond 3 Ultimate Wood Glue. It's what you want to use on your frames, your bodies, every part of your. It's an exterior wood glue. It's supposedly the best. But I've got one sort of assembled here. It's half assembled. That's a hive frame and fits perfectly. So it fits in there actually with a little bit of play, which is good because the bees will glue it down and put wax around it and everything else. So having a little bit of play is not a bad thing. What I've done here is I've made a frame, or a jig rather, that holds the entire thing in place. I've already took and glued and screwed this end into place, and basically what you do, this is perfectly square. You take your square and lay these strips of wood out just perfect to hold the thing in place. That way you don't have any trouble with it once it's all said and done, and you got a perfectly square little box. What I'll do, is make sure everything's nice and level and neat. It feels pretty good right there. It might take a little flip them. Give it a little flip them with the rubber mallet. Everything feels nice and smooth there. Go ahead and make your pilot holes. And I can't get to that bottom one, but that's okay. The other 3 being in place, that one's going to be perfect when time comes. Basically all I'll do here is get this one, do it the same way, take it apart, put the Titebond on it, and they'll be ready for paint. So hopefully I'll have a couple of paints on it, a couple of coats of paint on it by Sunday morning, and Sunday evening I'll be able to add these supers. So anyway, guys, that's it. Building hive bodies. Any questions, comments, or suggestions? I love hearing suggestions from you guys. I've learned so much from just the comments parts on my videos. Had a lot of great comments on every video I make, and you know, learned a lot, because some of you guys are actually professional professional construction guys out here. I'm just I'm just winging it. So like I say, suggestions, comments, hey, I'm open to it all. Thanks a lot, guys. Y'all take care. Jason, out.